Have you been working really hard trying to learn to become better with women, but no matter what you do, you just can't seem to make any headway? Have you found that you're starting to feel worse and worse about yourself, even though after all this work you should be starting to feel better and have a higher self-esteem? Are you reaching the point where you're starting to feel like, is everything that these dating coaches telling me one big lie? Because I am doing everything that they're asking me to do and it's absolutely not working. So it's got to be wrong. Well, if this is how you're feeling, then you're not alone. Even if you just feel a little bit this way, you're in very good company. In fact, over the last 10 years, I'd say that about 30% of guys who try to learn, pickup artist or try to learn dating coaching, they fall into this trap and they get into this space of feeling worse about themselves and feeling even more frustrated and angry with their situation. And so is learned attraction or pickup one big lie? Well, yes, it is. And no, it isn't. What do I mean? Well, look, it is 100% possible for any guy to learn to become way better at attracting women than he is now. There is a skill set here that every man can learn. And yes, looks plays a small role. Well, it actually plays an okay role, right? Meaning, if you're a really good looking guy, it's going to be easier, right? If you're average or below average looking guy, you can still learn to become much better with women. Maybe never as good as a guy who's really good looking, but you can certainly get pretty decent results. So that is definitely possible. However, there is a really, really massive failure of judgment on the parts of pickup artists. And I've got to admit, myself, in the past, my younger self, when it comes to guys learning pickup and whether now is the right time for them to be learning it. You see, I've come to realize that oftentimes for a number of men, there's other things they need to focus on long before they try to learn to pick up women. Is this you? Is this what's happening to you? Keep watching and let's find out. I first got involved in pickup all the way back in 2003. I had just started recovering from a really debilitating generalized anxiety disorder. So I was actually, just before 2003, I was trapped in my bedroom. I had terrible, terrible social, general anxiety. Just couldn't leave the house. And so I just started to recover from this and wanted to start going out and meeting girls because I wanted to get my life back on track. And as you can imagine, my confidence with women was shot. I had horrible, horrible approach anxiety. I could barely do anything in the beginning. And just being in front of a hot girl, my heart was racing, everything was going nuts, and I struggled. But I started to go out 3-4 times a week. I was getting regular practice. And I was going out regularly, and after about 3 to 4 months, I was starting to get some okay results, some really promising results. By about 6 months to a year, I was killing it. And after a while, I became the talk of my local pickup community in Sydney, where I grew up. And everyone wanted to go out and watch me because I just had this reputation of just being really incredible to watch and really incredible to try to learn and get tips from. And guys, it was embarrassing. I'd go out and guys would be trying to huddle nearby to listen to me and all this kind of stuff, and kind of funny looking back. But that's how it was. And then slowly from there, from helping guys for free and organizing events, I slowly got involved in coaching and School of Attraction was born. Now, this kind of hero's journey is very common. You'll hear it from a lot of dating coaches, right? A lot of pickup coaches, whatever you want to call them. You'll hear this journey a lot. And, it's this kind of this rags to riches or horrific anxiety to awesome confidence with women story. And it's a true story for me. It certainly was my true story. And I believe it's probably a true story for most of the dating coaches you hear it from. And so the obvious mindset that a lot of guys have is, well, hey, if that guy can do really well, can recover so well, so can I. I can do it too if he can. And that may well be the case for most guys, but it's not the case for all guys. In fact, as I said, it's about 30% of guys. This is not quite the case. You see, over the years, I came to realize something. If I look at my story, even before I had my really bad anxiety, I was a guy who had a pretty solid level of basic social skills. So what do I mean by this? Well, I had a really solid group of male friends who I'd go out with regularly. If you put me in a room with people, I didn't like being in a room full of people I didn't know, but I was able to make friends and talk to people. I could meet someone and I would be genuinely likable. So most people, when they got to know me, would like me. Not everyone, of course, you can't please everyone, but most people liked me. I was a likable guy who could talk, who had something to say. And I grew up in a household where there was lots of teasing and banter, like healthy teasing and banter, not mean teasing. And so I had an okay developed sense of humor. And so I had a good bedrock of social skills from which I could start learning to attract women. And yes, I had debilitating anxiety. And most guys who get into this stuff have some degree of anxiety around women, some degree of social anxiety. But what seems to be really apparent is you've got to start with that good basic social skill level. When I'm coaching guys, when I'm working with guys, when I see guys enter just a general free dating pickup community, I see this over and over again. You get two groups of guys, one group of guys who have basic social skills, and they go out and they, bit by bit, they push hard and they learn, and they get better and better with women, and they start to kill it and like, oh my God, this pickup stuff is amazing. Then you get the other group of guys who, because they don't have that base social skill level, it's like they're jumping right into the deep end, like really far into the deep end. So they're going on hitting on women. They're doing and saying everything that they've been told to do and say, but because they just don't have a very well developed bedrock here, they will mess it up through no fault of their own or through no shortcoming per se, like in who they are as human beings. Just because they haven't learned these basic social skills, they'll screw it up over and over and over again. And it's brutal. When you do that in front of a hot woman, that experience is brutal, right? And not to mention just building up the courage to walk up and approach a woman is hard. I mean, that takes a lot out of a man, right? So yeah, to do these things for these guys is hard, and they start to get worn out and they start to get frustrated, and their self-esteem tends to get more and more blows from women, and it's tough. So what should these guys be doing? Well, these guys, I mean, any man who doesn't have a well-developed social skill set needs to go out and get one. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you should forget about women. Forget about picking up women. Forget about pickup artists. Forget about all that stuff. Come back to it at a later date, because right now that's not what you need to focus on. You see, look, 80%, maybe even 90%, but let's say 80% of all the skills you learn in pickup, they're social skills. You know what I mean? I mean, imagine this. If I walk up to a guy and I teasing and banter, like I make him laugh and we have fun together, and I build rapport and I really connect with him and we have fun, and then I say, hey dude, I'd love to catch up with you again. What's your number? I'm not picking him up. What am I doing? I'm making a friend, right? You know, most of these skills we use everywhere. Like most of your pickup skills you use in the workplace. If you are at a high level networking function, what are you really doing with the men and women that you're talking to, trying to make business connections with? You're trying to be likable so that they might call on you when they want a product that you've got to sell them, right? Because we buy from people we like. That's what networking is about. Meet people, make quasi-friendships with these people so that you can work with them in a business context down the line. That's pickup skills. I mean, that's 80% pickup skills, right? I mean, it's all the same. If I go to look at a secondhand car that I want to buy from someone, if I'm likable, if they like me, like if I banter with them and tease and build a little bit of rapport and then I start haggling over price, they're going to give me a better price on the car because I'm likable. So you use these skills everywhere in your day-to-day social life. So you should start practicing in a social context long before you get anywhere near women. So what should you guys be doing? Well, first of all, start getting out to social events, like events where you're going to be around people you don't know. You know, hop on meetup.com and start looking for bushwalk events, trivia events, photography events if you want to try that. There's all kinds of like social groups that you can go to where you're going to meet other guys or girls, but the focus isn't sexual. It's all platonic. You're just going to meet other people who have similar interests or hobbies or whatever, and you're going to have to talk to them and interact with them. And so in this context, you're learning to connect with people you don't know. You're learning to engage in small talk and have better quality small talk. You're learning to make a better eye contact and have better body language. And you're learning to make friends and connect with people when you've taken sex off the table. And every time you make a mistake in this context, it won't be so brutal. It won't be so harsh. Not only that, but if you go to a social event, you might meet 15, 20 new people in a night. Whereas if you go and try to learn pickup, sure, you could do 20 approaches, but that's a lot. Like that's really draining and it can be emotionally scarring for a guy who really has to push himself to approach. But doing it in the context of like a meetup group or, join a salsa class, join a life drawing class. I don't know. There's lots of things you could do, like social activities where you're going to meet people. But doing these things, people are much friendlier to you, even if you're a bit socially awkward. So by engorging yourself and engaging in these activities 3 times a week, over a course of like 2, 3, 4 months, your social skills are going to jump through the roof. You're going to get much better at making friends. You're going to get much better at connecting with people. You're going to get a lot more comfortable being around strangers. And so if you've done this first and you've sort of built up this basic skill level, right? And you can practice most pickup skills too, right? You can practice teasing and banter with people, right? You don't have to be around women to practice teasing and banter. You can practice building rapport with people, with anyone, with anyone at these events, right? So most of your pickup skills you can practice there too. Sure, you can't practice sexual escalation and sexual screening and stuff, but the rest of it you can practice anywhere. So yeah, that will create a much stronger base for you, and it will also nurture you. It will also give you a much better sense of self-esteem because you will actually start to make real friendships with people, and you'll start to feel accepted for who you are. And these things will start to boost your sense of self and your sense of self-value and the value that you bring to the table. So when you do go out and then you go, okay, hey, let's get some dating coaching, or let's just work on pickup on my own, that's fine too, or in a community, you're ready for it. You're in the headspace where you've got that base level of social skill. And from there, yes, then you can start to get really great results. So I've been coming to this realization over the past 12 months or so. And as a result, I've started developing an online training program for social skills. It's going to be a series of videos, probably about 15 hours worth of video content, where I'm going to be going through not just the social skills, but practices that you can do. I'm going to have a whole bunch of worksheets to go through, activities, ways that you can find functions and social events to go to practice this stuff and chart how you're progressing. It's going to be an entire social skills program. And remember, this is a skill that you learn anywhere in your life. The program isn't complete yet. I'm just putting on the final touches right now. But if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the link up here or down below, because you'll be the first to know. It's going to be offered at a reduced price to the first guys through the gate, so definitely don't want to miss out on that. For the rest, guys, what do you think? Have you experienced this feeling of just getting more and more frustrated with pickup, feeling like you just can't get any traction? Has this video spoken to you? Let me know your experience and the results in the comments below. Even more than that, have you actually taken a step back from women and done this and worked on your social skills first? Did that work for you? I'd be even more keen to hear from you. Guys, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so don't miss out on any of my future ones. I'm Damien Deeker. Have a fantastic week.